Name is Kaniz Mahdi. I am responsible for the next G evolution of wireless internet, cloud, anything you may consume in your future lives. The topic today is imagining life. The talk previously was very interesting, and especially the Q&A session. There is, of course, a need for education in common layman people, common new students, and whatnot on creating awareness of the new science and the new technology, specifically IoT. Definitely agree with that need. But what I'm about to walk you through is there is also a need to rethink the way we design technology so that we are looking at life as a whole rather than the sum of its parts in a way that benefits every element of the society. So I'm going to walk you through the future very quickly, and then we'll bring you down to the ground as to where things are and how we are VMware, along with our ecosystem, paving a path toward that future. So if you can come with me, imagine a time when thousands of animals are used to predict the actual place and time of a tsunami, and millions or thousands of drones come together to stitch in their network in anticipation that there's a failure on the ground. They can come over and cover for the humanity in that tsunami area. Imagine a world where you have spare capacity from affluent neighborhoods lighting up the slums down the bridge. This basically, the stark contrast between the haves and the have-nots is very vividly visible in metropolitan cities. For example, I was born in Karachi, just down my neighborhood. You would see one side of the bridge is houses and grand castles almost lit up 24 hours a day, and then down the bridge you have stark darkness where people who serve these communities are actually making their living. Imagine a future where kids are able to teach their virtual tutors across using brain-machine interfaces, so that the tutor are customized, programmed with the customized education that inspires them, that motivates them, that the way they want to learn, rather than being bored out of their mind sitting in the class getting general purpose education like anyone else. So today we will not ask why or whether that is the future, but we will see how we make that future possible. And as you see, that the statement that I made, that how we make that future possible is not a far-fetched statement, because already technology has been, specifically AI and the pervasive connectivity, making AI pervasive by itself, is influencing everything around us, influencing how I change, how you change, how we all change. The more pervasive AI gets, the more it influences us. However, over the past decade or so, the focus has been on evolution of technology in isolation. Whereas if you think of it, it's oftentimes the intended and unintended behaviors driven by a new technology that result in human evolution. That is the process that results in societal evolution, sometimes in a positive way, sometimes in a negative way, as we are recently experiencing with the use, or I should say nefarious use, of the social media. We would like to change that. We would like to change that to bring the focus back to the human beings, back to the society that the human beings end up creating. If you think of it, tech should be designed not just to become human-centric. Of course, that is the purpose, exceedingly, is becoming the purpose, making tech to help us in our daily lives, the way we work and live and play, to complement us in every process that surrounds us. But imagining a life with a human-centric focus means building tech that just not improves lives, but it allows humans to live and breathe and grow with the tech in a way that people want, not the way the tech dictates. And this will require building tech that is not just resilient by itself, but it enables resilient societies. And you must be thinking, so how should I do that? Let's take a pause and think. Let's look around. If you take a think on the way universe is designed, it's designed resilient just by the inception. It is resilient by design. Every part of the universe is working in perfect harmony. Every living organism that constitutes the universe is fully functional, fully independent, fully autonomous in itself, while it contributes to the bigger, broader purpose of life. And it's this autonomic nature of the universe that we would like to take inspiration from when we start to shape the future roadmaps of technologies in a way that technology and society are evolving in concert with each other. We would like to take inspiration from nature and advance and evolve general purpose automation of today to become specialized and personalized around each of us human beings. AI, the use of AI in the proper way helps us to personalize automation in a way that allows each of us to function according to our own belief systems, based on our vision and objectives, while contributing to the bigger, broader purpose of the society. All of this, I can confidently tell you, is possible. It may seem like a pipe dream, but it is possible with the tech at hand. Everything, I should say, all the tools are there in the toolkit, but something is missing. What's missing is planet scale automation. And let's talk about planet scale automation as to why planet scale automation, that is the secret sauce that brings everything together in a perfect harmony. Because the pandemic has shown already that life is already distributed. It is technology, society, and economy, the entire thing is distributed across the globe. We are already consuming and living in a distributed economy. Because it gives me access to physical, digital, as well as biological resources that will help me solve the unsolved problems. For example, the first scenario I walked you through of using animals-based sensing to predict unpredictable or difficult to predict elements of nature. Because all of these resources are going to be distributed across the world. They will be owned and managed by different entities, and they will be owned and governed by different regulatory policies and governing bodies across different nations. And finally, because if I do have planet scale automation at hand with all these various global universal resources at hand, I'm able to finally eliminate the division between the haves and the have-nots. All right. So with all of that at stake, what's missing from technology perspective? So let's put the society on a side for now and focus on technology. The internet, as we see and experience today, is merely a communications construct that was put together by design, not by the design was distributed, but it was put together, I should say, in a reactive way based on the need of the time. It's a communication vehicle. What we would like to do and what is needed to enable planet scale automation is a living, breathing foundation that stitches all the digital resources spread across the world in a circulatory system of sorts. And then a nervous system that takes the local brains, which are controlling and governing and managing these distributed assets, in a global, universal, homogeneous, automated way. And then, of course, when you have such a universal scale of resources and systems and entities contributing to a cohesive system, the system has to be immune. Security has to be in place. And this living, breathing foundation, we call it the grid. So let's see what VMware is doing with its ecosystem to make use of the grid. Once the grid is in place, you can do bigger, broader things. And our ambition is to eventually use the grid to automate life. How do I automate life? I take all the digital, biological, and physical resources, as well as the intelligence in the minds of the living organisms, including animals, people that we are serving, the grid is serving, and stitch them together in a way that enables real-time collaboration across all of these smart objects. An object, the term I'm using, some people call it thing, I'm using the word object, some people call it agents. This is a forum of, it's a research community. You must be deeply engraved in science and technology experimentation around multi-agent systems. So I'm taking you into multi-agent systems now. So what if I take the multi-agent systems research and expand it beyond digital agents? What if I include biological agents as part of this intelligence ecosystem, enable real-time collaboration across these, so I am able to distribute intelligence in a way that optimizes effective collaboration across these agents, which makes them evolve and contribute to the ecosystem which they are evolving together, while they are also benefiting themselves, fulfilling their own objectives. None of this will be possible unless I am able to equip these agents and the systems which are stitching them through real-time, highly high-performance connections, unless I could equip them with autonomic capabilities. And once I have the elements of life stitched together through real-time multi-agent collaborations, distributing intelligence capable of autonomics, the resulting construct is really what we call the ecosystem of life, the ecosystem of automation of life. You must be thinking, okay, so vision is good. How do I get there? The very first thing is basically to enable the digital systems, the heterogeneous distributed systems, to come together. And VMware basically is working with our partners to build a multi-cloud grid. A multi-cloud grid that enables hypercomposed applications that are stretched by stringing together resources from cloud, wireless, and internet entities that are serving the different disparate ecosystems of today, so that all of these distributed heterogeneous systems are contributing to applications that can be dynamically composed with the right type of resources in the right amount, at the right place, in the right time. And these are truly dynamic, truly fungible applications that in turn string together to constitute truly dynamic, truly fungible edges. Not going to get into the fungible edge. It's another conversation that we can take as a follow-up, a deep dive into multi-cloud grid and how it enables fungible edge. But I would like to tell you that VMware alone cannot build a grid of that scale. VMware alone, one industry, one company, or one sector even alone is not enough. So we have launched an Open Grid Alliance to bring multiple sectors together in a multi-sector, multi-dimensional thinking construct that will mobilize the society for co-creation and co-innovation around the grid. The first and foremost, the objective of the OGA is enabling digital equity with equal access of broadband and digital service for all. And there is also a very tactical hidden ambition without which none of the future is going to be possible, and that is completing 5G. I'm going to diverge a little bit here to walk you through the thought process on why I'm using the term completing 5G. 5G basically was a generation of many first audacious goals, all very good, very noble, but the 5G that I am consuming on my handset today is no different than the LTE of yesterday. 5G was meant to be first generation born in the cloud. It was meant to be first generation, which was programmable, open, and first generation that enabled, some people call it Internet of Senses, some people call it Internet of Things, some call it Internet of Skills. We call it automation of life. All of this basically was the original ambition of 5G. We have made very good progress, but the actual infrastructure or the middle mile piece of it that enables all the new value adds of 5G is not in place. And the grid, the very first objective of the grid is to go finish that middle mile work to enable these audacious goals of 5G. And that's what we are doing with our ecosystem that we are shaping around the OGA. So once the OGA is fully functional, once we have the middle mile in place, we would like to use the grid to propel us to the future. Propel us to the future with symbiosis of digital and biological intelligence, as I walked you through in the initial segment of this talk. And you must be thinking, okay, so far so good, but then how do I make this a reality? I should say that traditional means of planning, designing, and operating telco systems or cloud systems or any new edge systems is not going to cut it. We need new mechanisms, new approaches to build and design and plan for the new generations of the cloud, internet, and the wireless systems. And that approach, some of us, and you're free to contest that, we feel that that approach has to be recursive, that approach has to be iterative, and it has to be evolved in concert in a way that I am taking a look at studying and monitoring and evolving different technologies that become the various pieces of the bigger life as a whole. And this constitutes the data, compute, web, internet, radio, and the medium of consumption, all of these technologies. Take a bottom-up approach, look at the research that is happening in the research labs, as well as the roadmaps which are developing in the various communities, including traditional and non-traditional suppliers, but then evolve them so that they are complementing each other And even when they are not complementing each other, they are working in harmony with each other. But then evolution of this technology has to be evolved in concert with the evolution of the human behavior that these technologies are leading to, and then the evolution of societies that those human behavior lead to. So in a way, what needs to happen is technology evolving in parallel with the human behavior evolving, which in parallel is evolving the society. All of these must be studied together in concert with each other. We call this the technology driving human driving societal evolution. We call it the evolution continuum. And we would like to create an ecosystem, communities, and thinking, a new way of designing systems in a way that they are following this evolution continuum. Because we feel that it is this evolution continuum that is going to lead us to the path for what some people are calling it 6G. So what is 6G? 6G to us is not a straight evolution of wireless or being a cloud company, not an evolution of cloud or internet to support the new wireless generation, but 6G to us in VMware is a evolution of the cloud, internet, and wireless, the fusion of all of it for a reimagination of life, a reimagination of life made possible by planet scale automation, enabling or enabled by a grid, I should say. And it's this path that we are embarking on with the inception of the OGA. We are also going back to the original purpose and the ambition of establishing an evolution continuum that not just takes the digital evolution, which is the OGA, but also the societal evolution and the human evolution together. VMware has formed, launched, I should say already, a sustainable technology development project. We are calling it TETRA, stands for Digital Equity Grid Innovation. The purpose of TETRA is basically to bring together the digital evolution that we are driving through various communities, OGA being one of them. We are also active in most of the other 6G communities, as well as the current 5G evolution happening through ORAN Alliance and 3GPP and whatnot. But then take those digital evolution constructs and bring them into the research that we will drive, working with close harmony with the academia, with the social nonprofit organizations, so that we are enabling an ecosystem of life that will in turn do research. And this is like a long range objective of ours, to enable, foster research that helps to do multi-sector thinking and multi-sector development for not just evolution of technology, but also evolving the human behaviors, assessing that evolution of human behaviors to make sure that we are aligned with the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, and eventually go partner with the SDGs to help them with not just the innovation and technology SDG goal, but the bigger, broader purpose of United Nations SDG, for example, the equity for education, equity for healthcare, clean water, you name it. So call to action, that is what I would like to close this talk with, is basically, as I said, we have started the journey with putting the seeds in place with multi-cloud grid that will take us into the first or second incarnation, I should say, for the planet scale automation. But the journey cannot be complete without all of you. So come join us, reach out to me. I have already we have a very well-established function in Ireland, Cork, VMware Cork. is where we are setting up a research cluster around the automation of life. We plan to expand that. More news coming around that in the near future. And we will be coming back to you with more details on how we would like to work with the Irish community, the research and academic folks and communities over there to help us take our first few steps toward automation of life. With this, I'm going to conclude my monologue and open up the floor for questions.